Welcome to February, the mini month. It's shorter than all the others, which is kind of weird. Here's the calendar. Every month, 30 or 31 days. What about this one? This one? 28. Not 30 or 31? Nope. How about 29? That might make more sense, right? Just one day less than the others. I said 28, goddammit. February can suck it. Well, I want to give February some extra attention to make up for that, so I'm declaring it mini month, all month long. The Monday videos, as well as the additional Wednesday videos, will be mini timelines, and we're going to start with the Don't Breathe series. Let's take a look to see if this short series can hold a timeline, or if we're going to need an inhaler. We kick off in 2016 with Don't Breathe from Fede Alvarez, director of the Evil Dead remake. It's got the 13 Reasons Why kid. Emma Stone's not available, so get Mia. And they're thieves, along with that It Follows guy. And they get tipped off about a house that has $300,000 in it, because the guy who lives there received a settlement a few years ago when his daughter was killed. This online article tells us that it happened back in 2011, and Rocky has a little sister, and her phone tells us that we're in 2016 and that it's September. It turns out that the guy they're robbing is blind, and they go into his house and gas him to sleep. But when Money shoots off a lock on a door that he thinks is holding the loot, dude wakes up and it's Stephen Lang. And did you know that he played Freddy the journalist in Manhunter, the guy that gets turned into a mobile barbecue? The blind man kills Money and traps Rocky and Alex in the house. They find the money in the safe and try to escape, but things take a turn when they find the girl who ran over his daughter, locked in his basement. And hold up, how long has she been down there? Is no one looking for her? If not, how is this dude not like suspect number one? Anyway, she gets shot, and then there's quite a bit of crawling around the house, like a whole lot of it. But eventually, Alex gets stabbed, and Rocky gets captured. The old man ties her up in the basement, and it's revealed that the other girl was pregnant with his child because he wanted a replacement, and decides to impregnate Rocky, but claims he's not a rapist, so he plans to do it with a turkey baster and says this:
"There's nothing a man cannot do once he accepts the fact that there is no God."
And I don't know why they felt the need to put this in here, because religion hasn't been a point in this film, like at all, like not one bit, but they had to put that in there. And I would like to tell you guys, the audience, that those that have decided that there's no God don't really have any more desire to be horrible people than they did beforehand. Saying that seems to imply that there's this concept that people are only good because they're afraid of being punished by like going to hell or something, instead of just, I don't know, not being a completely horrible person. It turns out that Alex is not dead and saves Rocky, but then Blindy gets loose and shoots him. And she almost escapes, but he manages to get her and drags her back to the house. And they duke it out. And look, I don't care who you are. If you get hit in the head one time with a metal crowbar, you're most likely dead, let alone 4. She flees and the police immediately arrive, and she takes the money and her little sister and takes off to LA. And it's reported that the blind man survived and says that he fought off 2 intruders. But hold up, what about Cindy? Did they not find evidence of her there? It's not like he had time to cover up like her blood splattered all over the basement. Or the rape dungeon. They make it seem like Rocky can't say anything for fear that he'll report her for stealing the money, but like all she has to do is say that he kidnapped her for his dungeon and her friends came to help her and he killed them. And oh yeah, he also killed that girl who is missing, and he put her body in the floor over there. And he's clearly saying I stole his money in order to cover his tracks. But hey, just look in the floor over there, or in this blood samples all over the walls. It's an open and shut case. 5 years later, a sequel arrived which is simply titled Don't Breath 2, which begins with this shot, which I'm pretty sure is CGI, or else this girl just moves. Really weird. Then there's a text up on the screen saying 8 years later, but we're not sure what that's 8 years from. And the old man is back, still blind, except he now has this little girl named Phoenix, who calls him father, and he lives in a new house and tells her that her mother died in a house fire. While out and about, she's approached by creepy-ass Brandon McCarthy, and
you're a bad man.
Well, yeah, he kidnapped the girl and forcibly impregnated her and then killed her and buried her body in his basement. So I think that's underselling it a bit. Phoenix dreams of a life with other kids around, and that night, the gang shows up at the house and kills the dog. So of course, a siege situation goes down, and the gang leader reveals that he's the girl's actual father and has been in prison for 8 years. And the blind guy just took Phoenix afterwards. So look, since she wasn't in the last one and he mentions losing his daughter, this is after the first film. And if he found her in the road, say a short time after the first movie, this is 8 years later. So I guess it's 2024 and this hasn't happened yet. Again, I'm not sure how this guy didn't remain a person of interest after what happened before, and how no one was just like, oh, the guy who had the room to lock girls away just suddenly has a young girl with him. I guess nothing to see here. I mean, he's still just outside Detroit, so it's not like he up and vanished and ran off to some other state. They get the girl and reveal that her real name is Tara and her mom is seemingly alive, but it turns out that they're meth dealers and they only want her because they want her heart for a transplant. And the old man manages to find their headquarters, where the boss does the Oldman.
How many of us?
All of you!
And he comes in and pretty much wipes out everyone. The mother is shot, and who do I root for here? The meth dealer killer who was willing to kill a little girl? Or the serial rapist murderer who kidnapped and imprisoned that same little girl? After killing Pops, he confesses and tells her to leave, and Raylan is still alive and stabs the blind man, with Phoenix finishing him off. The old man seemingly dies, and she goes to the nearby shelter, but a mid-credit scene indicates that the dude is still alive. So there you have it, just 2 short movies that I guess have a continuity. They are pretty unconnected. The second movie seems as if it's a slightly different character than the first one. I would hope so, because I'm not sure why they want us to root for him. Like, they sure will tell us that he's a bad man. Like, they're saying, I'm a bad man and I've done bad things, but everything he does over the course of the movie is noble, and he's like kind of like a good guy rescuing a little girl that he kidnapped. So yeah, I'm kind of not into that. I'm not a huge fan of these movies. I won't say that they're bad movies. They're not terrible, but the logic really kind of sucks. Yeah, the fact that nobody was investigating him at all after the first movie is a big head scratcher. Very confusing. If you thought it made sense, if you want to defend these, let me know down below in the comments. I don't think, like I said, I don't hate them. I guess they're just not for me. Or if you also didn't really care for them, tell me that down below in the comments. If you enjoyed this, please consider hitting the like button. If you think I'm wrong, please don't hit the not like button. That doesn't really make sense. I just have a different opinion than you. Doesn't really deserve a like button, not liking it. I don't know. If you enjoyed the channel, please hit subscribe. And if you think about it, go to my Patreon page at patreon.com/movietimelines. I'd appreciate that. These guys are my patrons. They help me out, which I'm very thankful for. And I'll see you very shortly for another great video. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.